Human activities really have a heavy impact on freshwater ecosystems, perhaps more than any other ecosystem. If you look at the data, freshwater ecosystems have suffered the biggest biodiversity decline out of all ecosystems. As the climate warms, we have more evaporation, more water lost from a system. We also have changes in rainfall, so we have more rainfall in a shorter space of time, more flooding and more drought. And that's not just water available to you and I, but also to all of the fauna that rely on that ecosystem.
My research is mainly focused on understanding invasions by alien species. So these are species that people have taken to areas where they don't normally occur, and they can have major impacts on those systems. They can drive the native species to extinction. They can have big impacts on human economic activities, human health and welfare. And so understanding the process of invasion by these species is really critical to try and mitigate some of the impacts that humans are having on the environment.
So as part of the People and Nature Lab's new Master's Programme on Ecology and Data Science, we're looking at areas such as identifying and using new AI tools for conserving and tracking nature. So thinking about how to identify huge amounts of images from camera traps that you put outside in the environment, or acoustic sensors. So how do you go through huge amounts of information in a really quick time?
We know that biodiversity is changing really rapidly under human-induced changes, so under climate change and under stresses from pollution. So what we need are biodiversity monitoring systems that can help us to understand rapid change. The kind of students that we'd love to have on the Ecology and Data Science course, or any of our programs at UCL East, are people from all different backgrounds who are interested in bringing technology, engineering, data science to the ecological crisis, and people who are willing to think across disciplines. So not necessarily having experience of that, but just people who can think flexibly to tackling global biodiversity crisis.
Previously, I had some experience with marine protected areas and understanding them through that way in terms of conservation. But now I'm able to assess these marine protected areas or other marine environments by looking at biodiversity indicators that are widely used in the field, and by trying to understand how the health of certain species can be assessed in marine environments using a lot of different new technologies. And this master's is really putting a lot of technologies on display. UCL has been great because I've had access to some professors that are super down to earth, but really well versed in their given domains. Some guest lecturers that have been super helpful in developing my understanding of the field, of the things that interest me, but also more generally of things that I'd never really considered.
To any student who's interested in coming and studying here, obviously I'm biased, but I would say do it. We are very much focusing on the solutions to the ecological crises. So of course you will learn about why ecological crises exist and what's happening, but you will also get to interact with people who are working in charities for the government who are trying to solve these problems. And I think that's a really unique and exciting thing about coming and studying these subjects at UCL.